Let's continue our talk on Irma. As we mentioned at the top of the news, just after 2 days of rest, Task Force 1 here in Lincoln, based in Lincoln, is going back out on the road.
And this time to Florida. New at 10, Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Joe Harris has more for us. Joe?
That's right. The group that helped with hundreds of rescues in Houston is now heading back to Florida. Task Force 1, made up of firefighters in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion, are back in demand. They just returned to Lincoln from Houston on Tuesday, and Thursday night they were packing up again, this time to help potential victims of Hurricane Irma.
They made it to the last second of their 48 hours off, and so technically they're now off the clock for Hurricane Harvey, but FEMA called just a little while ago and said that they need them on the road as soon as possible.
Hurricane Irma has already left a deadly path of destruction on its way to Florida. Meteorologist Luke Doris, who just left Channel 8 to work at the ABC station in Miami, talked to us. As people brace for the storm's wrath, he spoke about its remarkable intensity.
To see a storm reach that intensity alone is a rare event. You know, that's the second highest wind speed ever recorded in the Atlantic Basin. It's only been beat once, back in 1980 with Hurricane Allen at winds at 190. And this storm achieved that.
Doris says we typically see Category 5 hurricanes weaken and then regain intensity and have a peak wind gust or sustained wind speed in that territory briefly. But Irma is so dangerous because it sustained its 185-mile-per-hour wind speed for 33 straight hours.
Nowhere in the globe has that happened before, since we have been keeping records, especially since the satellite era, which started in the 60s.
Doris says because it sustained its intensity as it moved into the Caribbean, it was able to inflict such severe damage. In fact, in Barbuda, officials say at least 95% of its buildings were damaged. Time will tell what it does to southern Florida. Teams, like Task Force 1, are ready to go.
You know, they're going to go and give it another try, even though it may be a couple of weeks. And the rehab time was pretty narrow coming back, but they're willing to do it.
Doris says people down in Florida are taking the threat very seriously. Gas stations are backed up, many people have evacuated, and people are preparing for this as best as they can.
Yes, and we just hope that it's not as bad as we're planning for, but you never know. Thank you, Joe, for the story. We should also mention that LES in Lincoln is also helping. They're sending 14 workers and 9 vehicles down to Florida.